Alright, so welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and in this wonderful tutorial, we're trying to see how to work with Streamlit Forms. So we're trying to use it to build a very simple app, salary calculator. So let's see this new feature, right, which is very cool. So with this new feature of the forms, it allows you to be able to batch or group all your different widgets together and execute them one after the other. So let me show you what I mean. So if I come back to this part of the app, right, it's having two different forms and the normal stuff here. If I click on this place and I enter in the value, so what is my hourly rate? $50 an hour, and then the number of hours I work, maybe 100 hours a week. If I click on submit, it's going to analyze it, and then it's going to only execute that particular part for us, as you can see from here, right? So the result is here, as you can see. Very simple and very nice, right? So it's not going to execute any of them, only the ones in the form. Very cool. If I come down here and then I enter in a name, there's another form. So let's say Jesse, and then the last name JCharis, and I enter in jesse@gmail.com. This is one part of the app, right, which is grouped together. If I click on sign up, only this place is going to be executed, not the rest, right? It said, hello Jesse, your form submitted. So only this place was executed. This was not executed, right? Very simple, because I have not clicked on the submit button. Then this is the normal way we used to do it. If I click on this place and I change it here, click on this is to overweight. This is going to give me this particular BMI, right? Very simple and very nice. So that is what we're trying to build. So with Streamlit Forms, you can group your widgets together so that you execute them accordingly. Let's see how to apply this concept or work with the Streamlit form. So I'll go back to my test editor. So this is a basic understanding. So to be able to work with the forms, you have to make sure that you have Streamlit 0.81 and upwards, right? That is the only way you can be able to work with it. So you can either install it straight away in case you don't have Streamlit, or you can upgrade it with this particular option. And it's having two different approaches. We have the context manager approach and then declared variable approach. So let's see how to work with it. So I've already created a simple form here, which is something very basic. So I just imported Streamlit and then pandas, and then I'm going to create something very simple and basic, right? So let's run this particular app. So I'll go back to my terminal, which is this is the old app that is running, and let's work on it. So this is, I'm using Kali for today, right? Because if I go with this and I run it like Streamlit version, let's take the version now. So the version we are using is version 0.81 and upwards, right? That is the version that is having the forms. Taking some time for it to run. If you can see that has run. So this is a particular version. So from this particular version onward, you can have the Streamlit form. So let's run our app. So Streamlit run our app.py. Hope you can see it better. It's going to use your default browser. So whilst it's opening, let's run some code. I'll come down here and I'm going to create my menu, as you always do, which is going to just have only two menus, the home and then the about, right? And then I'm just going to say that if the, let's position it well. So I'll copy this particular URL and I'll paste it inside my browser. This is the old app, so let's paste it inside this particular place. So you can see that there's nothing here, right? It's totally empty. So I'll go back to the app and then I'm going to say that if the menu, well, let's create a choice, right? So the choice that the person can select, to st.sidebar.select box, right? And I'm going to pass in my menu here, then my list of menu, right? So say if the choice that the person selects go to home, as you always do, I want you to st.subheader, and it's going to be the forms tutorial, right? Something like that. Then else st.subheader about, right? Very simple. So that is something very basic that you'll be trying to build, right? Now let's see how to work with the form. So in working with the forms, as I said, there are two different approach. There's a one with the context manager, right? And there's the other one with the declared approach. So let's all like function or variable approach. So let's see how to work with it. So let's see how to create our forms. It's going to be, let's check our app whether it's running. Yeah, our app is running, so always will run. We are using the dark theme. That's why you can see it like this. So let me position it beside it. So this, right, everything is working as expected. So now let's position it here. Okay, so let's see how to work with it. So there's going to be method 1. using this one, using the contest manager approach, right? So this is simply with a width contest manager, right? Very simple. It's going to be like this. So width st.form, then this is going to take in a key. The key is to make sure that you don't confuse all the forms together, right? Key, and I pass in, let's say, form 1, right? Then I'm going to say that this is form 1, so it's going to be, everything is going to be grouped under it. So I'm going to create something very simple. So let's create, let's say, a username or first name, right? st.subheader, I said subheader, test input, and this is going to be my first name, right? Then do the same thing for the last name, right? See, I'm doing it for the last name. And then let's say date of birth, DOB st.date input, date of birth. Right. So the recommended way is that after doing it, you are supposed to bring the submit button. Otherwise, it's going to give you this missing submit button error. Right. If you don't bring this, the button is going to give you this particular error. Right. So you have to come back and bring the button. So the button is going to be my st. Let's put as form 1 or submit button. Right. Something like that. So st.form submit. And then this one, if I run it like that, it's going to work perfectly. So you can put in a name here of the particular name you want to give to your form. By default, it's going to be using submit. But in case I want to change this one from submit to something else, I can come back and say my label. And I'll specify the label there. So the label is going to be, let's say, login or sign up, right? Sign up. So it's going to change it from this default submit to sign up. Perfectly, you can see. So everything I'm going to be executing, unless I click on this button, it's not going to work, right? Only this one is going to be executed. Very simple. So that is going to be how to work. So let's come back and then run the results of our submission. So the result can be outside, can be either inside the form or outside, right? Anyhow you want it to be, the execution you want to do can be either inside or outside. So let's see it outside it. So it's going to be my submit button. Then now what do I want to do? I want to just say that st.success, tell the person that hello, then the person's name, you have created account, or you have created an account, something like that, right? Then dot format, and I pass in my first name. Perfect. If I save it now, so this is not going to be shown until I click on the button. As you can see, it is not showing. So if I pass in a name here like Jesse, and then the last name like JCharis, and I specify this particular date of birth, which is very cool, right? Very cool. If I click on sign up, it's going to now execute only that particular one. Hello Jesse, you have created an account. So that is how to work with the forms, right? Very simple. So the basic idea is that just go with st.forms. st.form, you specify the name you want to give to that particular form, then you put in all your widgets, then finally you close it. This is very important, right? You close it with this particular button, then you can execute your results later on anyway. That is how to work with it. This is a method 1. Now let's check method 2. So method 2 is going to be like this option. Method 2, right? So method 2, I can just go with the method 2 doesn't go with the with context, it goes with the normal declared approach, right? Variable approach. You're declaring the variable. It's going to be like, let's say form 1, form 2 is going to be st.form. Then I'll pass in my key. I'm going to call this one as my form 2, right? Perfect. Then from here I'll be able to do whatever I wanted to do. So let's say I want to use a username. Going to be my form2.test input, right? So this form 2 is referring to this form, right? So it's telling Streamlit that group anything you're going to, any widgets you're going to see under this particular form, right? Perfect. Then now I can just specify the username. Then you have to make sure that you also bring, let's add in an age, or let's use a slider, or let's say an age or something. Let's put, let's say, salary or job type. It's going to be form2 dot select box job, right? And the person is going to put in, let's say the person is a developer, the person is a data scientist, the person is maybe a doctor or something, right? Something very simple. So this, now you have to also bring the button. So to bring the button is going to be the same thing. So I can call it as my submit form, or let's make it simple. So form. So let's call it as button 2, right? Button 2, right? You can just give it submit button 2 or something. Submit button 2, right? For form 2. Then I'll just go back the same thing. So form 2 dot form submit button. So this form 2 is referring to this one here, right? Very simple. Not necessarily this I can change the name anyhow, but I prefer it to be the same. Then I have to close it. So this is going to be, this was sign up, you can say login, something like that, right? If I save it now and I come down to my browser, you can see we have two different forms here. We have the first form at top, which is using the weight contest approach. We have the second form below, right? So if I enter in this particular value here, sign up, this is only going to be executed without executing this, right? Even if I type in something here, so if I type in, say, TC, and I put in a TC is it's a data science, it's a dev or data scientist or something, right? Until I click on this, this is not going to execute. So if I come to this place and I change this one from, let's say, Marisa, right? And then I change the name. So if I click on, until I click on this button, this is not going to be executed, right? Only this is going to be executed. The first one, the one I click on the button, the one within the form, is the only one that is going to be executed. So that, hello Marisa, you have created an account. Only this one was executed. This was not executed until I click on this particular button. Right, that is how to work with it. Now let's add some things to it. So I just come down here. Now say that, say if the submit button 2. Now I can just come down here and say that st.write, and I will put in the person's name. So username dot upper. Right. So let's try it again. So if I click on this login, now this is going to be in uppercase. Only this one was executed. All of these things was not executed until you click on this particular button. That is a very nice feature. So people that are having issues with Streamlit running everything, you can put your activities, your widget within a form, which is very, very nice, right? Very cool. Now let's go back again, and then let's add the salary to it. So I'll just come back to this particular option. So this is the first method. So how do you work with the forms? You just go with the first method. So with st.forms, you specify the name, then you place in all your widgets, and then it's important to bring your submit button. That is the first option. Then you can now execute your result. So if the submit button is submitted, you execute your result. Or you can use this second approach, in which is going to be this particular option here, right? Very simple, very nice. Now, what about trying to combine the forms with the columns? Let's see an example. So I'll come down to the top of my app here. Let's build our salary calculator. Right. I want to combine this one with the columns, right? So how do I do that? So it's very simple. So I can say that with st.form, then I can specify that this is going to be my key, and I call it as my salary form, right? For the salary calculator. Then this is going to take in some columns. So my columns is going to be here. So column 1, column 2, column 3. Then this is going to take my st.beta columns. Then this simple one is going to take in my columns with 3 to partition it to 1. There's a whole tutorial on how to work with the columns. Then I will say that with column 1, I want you to put in the amount there. So amount. So st dot number input which is going to be the number. So let's go with hourly rate. Yeah, or let's say, yeah, that was your rate in dollar. So hourly rate, so can spell it well, right? In dollar, that's going to be the first one. Then this is going to be for column 1. I can also do the same with column 2. So this is going to be the number of hours the person work a week. So hours per week. So st.number input. Then this is going to be the number of hours the person works. So this is going to be my, so hours per week, right? How many hours the person works. So we're just going to can put in a list. So let's pick 1 hour to, yeah, 120, or let's make it, yeah, 120, something like that. Perfect. So if I save it and I come back to see what you have done so far, you can see now it has given us a very nice form, right? Remember that anytime you see this particular line around it, that means the form. We have this particular widget here in one column, in another column, and it's giving us the same error. So you have to make sure that you bring the button. So I'll come down here and I'll add the button here, right? So it's going to be with column 2 st.test button, or let's go to salary. Yeah. If I save it and I come down here, it's not working, right? It's salary. I have to push it here and I have to bring the button. So how do I do that? So it's simple. I just come back again and say that my salary submit, or submit salary. Let's go to submit salary st.form submit. I'll give it my label. Let's go to calculate, or calculate. Yeah, let's go calculate. If I save it now, it's going to work without giving us an error. And you see where this one is not the best place. So I have to make sure that this is placed in the best place, right? Because this is not that very nice. So let's make it better. Right. So the reason it's putting it here is that this is column 2, this is column 1, column 2, and then we want to put it here. So I'll come down, change this one from column 2 to column 3, because we are unpacking it here. So column 1 divided into 3, that's the third, second, 1, right? So if I run it, so now this is a better format, right? So we have our hourly rate here, our hours per week, and then the salary, right? Now let's create the option of clicking on it, and it's going to calculate and give us our result. So I'll come down here, and then with this option, I'm going to say that I said this entire stuff here is a form, right? One form. Very nice. And now I can execute the result here. So let's put in something different. So with st.beta expander the result, and now I can just compute the result. So if submit salary button, you can make it like this. You can bring this one at the top, or the other way around. So you can do it like this. Outside of this, it can also be outside of this form, right? Because you have stored inside a variable that you can export outside. So if submit the salary button, I want you to open the result, and I want you to give me the result. So we can just create a simple pandas data frame to help us see the result. So let's give my result. So let's call it as my daily. The daily is going to be the amount times 8. That is the minimum amount of hours people work, like. And then let's go with the weekly amount, which is going to be amount times the hour per week, right? Now let's use pandas to review sopd.data frame, and let's use a dictionary so that it gets the column name. So daily, so let's go as hourly. This is going to be my amount, the normal amount. I can spell amount. The next one is going to be the daily. I'll put in my daily, and the final one is going to be weekly. I'll put in my weekly. Let's bring it out. So st.data frame then I'll put in my data frame .t. So the .t here means transpose it, right? Without it, you see what I mean? If I come down here, so everything is working as expected. Let's put in a value of, let's say, $50. The number of hours a person work is 80 hours, 89 here. Click on calculate. Now see that the result has come here, right? Very simple. And none of these things were executed. So this is it. None of these were executed. They have been separate. They were not even touched at all, right? Until you click on this particular button, which is a very, very useful feature. Very, very cool. Wow. That's a very nice feature. Okay, so that is it. So this is okay, but I want to transpose it. So now I can transpose it here. .t. And it moves to this way. So if I click on calculate, result has come. Perfect, right? So that is how to work with the Streamlit forms. Very simple, very nice. So to work with the forms, all you need to do is that you have to make sure that you go with either this first approach, which is what I prefer anyway, right? The weight contest, it makes it neater. You group everything here, right? And you bring the submit button, very important. Then you can execute and then run whatever you want to do after the button has been clicked. You can also use the second approach, in which you just put the form into a variable, right? A declared variable, then use that particular variable on all your widgets. So thank you for watching. See you in the next session. Stay blessed. And see that the app is working separately. Every one of them is separate. This is separate from this place and then from this place. Thank you for watching. See you another time. Stay blessed. Bye.